It's me, Lisa Side, LMFT. So today, what is on my mind is the holiday season. This is the time of year where for a lot of folks, it can be really great, really happy, bring about all those warm fuzzy feelings, but for others, it can kind of maybe bring about some of those not so great, maybe hurtful or anxious feelings. So today's focus is really going to be particularly about social anxiety and how to kind of cope with that during the holiday season. And the reason that I chose this as the focus for today is because I personally am having two holiday events or holiday parties that I'm going to related to work stuff, and I know a lot of people have that coming up, and it can be kind of awkward to like not go even if you don't want to go, just because a lot of people can feel like maybe there's some stigma around it, or are they going to be judged if they don't, or what are people going to say, or if I do go, what's going to happen. So if you're familiar with just anxiety in general, or particularly social anxiety, those kinds of thoughts might be kind of familiar to you, right? So I have, as usual, 3 tips to help you kind of cope with, the social anxiety during the holiday season. And I'm going to give them to you right now. So my first tip that I have for you guys is, as always, focusing on that brain-body connection. So reducing the actual anxiety within your body first. And one way that you can use to do this is by using like a grounding techniques. I've talked about this a little bit before. Essentially, grounding is tapping into any of your 5 senses, whether 1 or 2 of them or all of them, to kind of help get yourself more regulated and get out of that hyper arousal, or just kind of that anxious place. So a few things that might help with that are obviously, number 1, as I always say, breathing. So doing some deep breathing is great with this. You can kind of make sure it's really from your deep belly breathing. So you want to have that inhalation, kind of that expansion in your belly as you inhale, like filling a balloon up, or as you're exhaling, contracting, deflating the balloon. So kind of thinking like that, and you want it to be nice and slow. And typically counting can also be helpful with this. You can count to 5, so kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of like at that nice, slow, steady pace can be really good in kind of getting yourself a little bit grounded and more calm. So in addition to that, another thing that I have with grounding can be kind of maybe having like a small token, especially again, if you're out around a lot of people, you can't necessarily leave at that moment. Breathing can definitely be helpful, but so can something else. So maybe something palm size. Some people might use like some type of fidget thing. They sell things all over the place in the internet and stores nowadays. Actually, for myself, I kind of like to have like a small stone that I carry with me that I can just kind of like hold in my palm. For me, it's cool and it's smooth, and I can kind of rub over it with my finger. And I also have like a nice little inspirational thing on it. If you see, like, it says hope, and for me, that's a really good thing. But you can see calm or peace or whatever. There's some type of maybe positive mantra that you yourself find really inspirational. And then another thing with the grounding, some people kind of have, I know they sell actually like these anxiety bracelet things. I'm not like a sponsor for anything, or like prayer beads or mantra beads. So I actually kind of like have some beads that I wear like on my wrist, and sometimes I'll just kind of like fidget with them, and you can just kind of go back and forth and feel like the different sensations, like one is wood, or one is of stone, and kind of feel the contrast and the shape or the size. So that's kind of my first tip with the grounding. I give you kind of a few things in there with that. My second tip for you guys is setting limits. So I don't have to be okay with going to a 3-hour-long event. If that's too much for me, and I know that's too much for me, that's fine. Just have some type of, sense of how long you're going to be there. and let that kind of guide you so that you don't have to feel so overwhelmed of being in a social environment for 3 hours. That is just too much. So if you say maybe 30 minutes or maybe 1 hour or maybe 15 minutes, whatever it is, or maybe I need 15 minutes or every 15 minutes I'll kind of take a little bit of a break or something like that to kind of, center myself, then that's fine. Just have some type of limits for yourself that can help you feel a little bit more in control and a little bit more balanced as you kind of go into that social environment. And my third tip for you is positive goal or some type of positive focus. I talk to a lot of people and there's a lot of worry when they go in, of judgment, of all this. And then that kind of tends to be the thing that they just focus on is, where's the judgment? Where's this? Where's that? What's going to go wrong? So instead of focusing so much on what's going to go wrong or what can happen, focus on one thing that you really want to take away from it. So if it's, I want to be able to talk to one person or have like a 5-minute conversation with one person, or I want to, be able to hear a joke or tell a joke or something, just something small that can kind of be your driving point to help take all the focus off of all the chatter and the other things that are going on. So those are the 3 tips that I have for you guys today. Number 1, do some type of grounding, whether it's deep breathing or, using whatever sentences that you like to help regulate yourself. Number 2, setting limits, having some type of idea of, how long you're going to be there or where you're going to do that type of thing. And 3, a positive goal or focus that you want to get out of going to the event.